Go. So Voices of the River is an idea that we came up with. I wanted to do a podcast originally when I started up with the Evenlode Catchment Partnership. I felt that it was a great opportunity to reach out to individuals that might not be able to actually come down to the river and try and share stories from the various people that are involved in the catchment, in addition to experts. But it kind of grew on from there to wanting to offer an opportunity to have webinars as well. Not going to let me advance. There we go. So what I wanted to do was create a digital legacy with the objective to have expert and local guest speakers focusing on the river topics, using both of those mediums. It's a collaboration with Sam Frith from Earthwatch and myself from Cotswold National Landscape. And I would also like to engage the wider community, specifically with the podcast. And speakers are basically anyone from the catchment residents to environmental experts. And I'm sorry, the audience isn't showing on my screen, but the audience is anyone. We're trying to appeal to anyone within the catchment in hopes of just educating and to a degree entertaining, but mainly educating about the situation in the river. So the webinar specifically is designed to allow for visual displays, graphics, and photo comparisons. It's a bit more formal with the presenter, the guest presenter actually leading it for the most part. It has a brief introduction from either Sam or myself, and then the presenter leads into it. Then there is a short question and answer time at the end with the expert. People can obviously put their questions into the chat during the webinar, but it just gives them an opportunity to directly engage with the audience, as it were. It is recorded live on Zoom, and it is currently we're advertising through our social media, really in the initial stages of it. And I think the benefit that it also adds is kind of some consistency and support with the two regular ECP hosts. So if Sam is having an off day or I'm having an off day, then the other one can jump right in and cover. It's recorded the first and the third Tuesdays of every month and runs from 12:30 to 1:30. And it kind of is in line with, I guess the reason I wanted to go with the webinar as well as the podcast was because I was participating in something called the Great Collaboration, which is through the National Association of Local Councils. And they have what they call the banter sessions, which are every Wednesday and kind of go along the lines of environmental and climate change topics. Again, bringing in experts, but not specifically for the rivers. And both Sam and I have presented on that, and we thought it would be a really great way to just give the opportunity for a more visual conversation and giving people the opportunity to ask questions. Then the podcast, it's audio only. It's a bit more friendly, casual. We can do that either on Zoom, recorded on Zoom, or we can go down to the river and have that ambient sound in the background. It's approximately 30 minutes. We don't want to bore people, but equally, if there's a really great conversation, we don't want to cut it short. There is no audience participation. And I think originally I had thought that maybe we might have two hosts from the ECP, but I'm moving a little bit more away from that and thinking that because we haven't yet recorded any of the podcasts, actually getting the community involved in as well. I think with the ECP, if we've got two people that are knowledgeable, for example, like for forever chemicals, and then we have the guest host, which is an expert in it, then it kind of leads the conversation differently. And I'd like to bring in, I think, the wider river community as participants. We've got loads of people that are curious and wanting to engage and learn more, actually bringing them in and having them as a guest host. And I think it also strengthens the river community feel to it, but it I think interjects a bit of innocence to it, maybe perhaps naivety in a nice way, so that it's very genuine, and the average person is able to ask questions during the podcast interview with the expert. And also for for having, we have the opportunity to bring in people like local anglers and really just talk to them about, what's happening with the river. Cold Aston has their angling community, and I think they have had to cancel their last two angling competitions because of low fish counts, and trying to get their stories out. So it's about stories, it's about experts, but it's a little bit more friendly and relaxed. So we have kicked off the webinar, and this is some of the content that we have recorded. We had Ash speaking at the beginning, talking about grassroots action and how that can lead to national change through WASP. And then we had a speaker talking about antimicrobial resistance. We've had Jeff Toombs coming in, speaking about the need to engage more with local sewage treatments and planning permissions. And then just this last week, we had Tony Bostock talking about water quality, soil erosion, and river fly. Those have been pretty well received. I think we wanted to start out really gently with them because it was something that was very new to Sam and I. And it was great. Ash kind of said to us, when they started out WASP and he put it on Facebook, I think they had 2 people like it. And from there they've grown immensely. And so he kind of agreed we really need to start out kind of small and quietly and build as we go. So these again are twice monthly. So for upcoming webinar content, these are a couple of people and organizations that we have in line that we're working with to schedule in. We've just come off of the August holiday period, so just wrapping up and confirming some of those. The next one in September will be the Northeast Cotswold Farmer Cluster. And yeah, you can kind of see several there. I would like to really highlight the various partnerships as well within the ECP and get them slotted in before the end of the project. Upcoming podcast content, we've got the Royal Society of Chemistry is going to speak about PFAS and their campaign. Chipping Norton Vets, as it turns out, my local vet in Chipping Norton is a lead nationally on the dangers of tick and flea treatments. So he's happy to speak about that. We've got the Gloucestershire Wildlife Trust is going to be recorded next week for Slow the Flow waterscapes. This big project that they've been working on, that they've had funded. That's basically talking about how organizations, companies, and even individuals can re-landscape and slow the flow through water gardens. And also, again, the Cold Stone anglers from Ascot are happy to join in on the podcast as well. The library is basically being kept on our YouTube channel. It's at Evenlode Catchment Partnership at the Evenlode, and those are basically going to be free and available. So I think that the digital library legacy concept is we can record stuff live, we can record stuff and then release it on podcast, but we want to continue to capture that and hold it for other people to be able to access at any point. And that's why we're putting it onto YouTube. It will also be available on a podcast library as well. But that's currently where all of the webinars that we've recorded are sitting. And that's it.
Brilliant.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, thank you very much. Are there any questions? If you've got hands raised, I'll hunt you down. I'll try and find you. I'll kick off if I can. I mean, do you have any idea how many people are, and it's early days yet, but do you have any idea how many people are sort of joining the webinars and the podcasts?
I think it really, so we don't have any of the podcasts recorded yet. Mm-hmm. We've got the kits and everything, but I think for me personally, I was really busy at the end of June and July with helping the education team, and then I took most of August off. So we've basically laid the groundwork for the podcasts and have people raring to go to record it. It's just now a matter of me making the time to go out and do that. And with the webinars, it has been a slow uptake. Again, we've been trying to get our feet in the water. I think we've had anywhere from 5 to 13 attend. But I think very much like the Great Collaboration webinars, they start out really small, and they grow from there. It's a word of mouth thing. It's a promoting on social media. It's getting it hopefully into everybody's newsletters and things like that, and really using the partnership to publicize it. We do need help with that, absolutely. And hopefully, as we are a collaborative group, everybody can help with that. So if anybody has any contacts for their comms people that they would like to share, we will be trying to broadcast that wider now.
Brilliant. Thank you. Right, a couple of hands I can see. Rhiannon, you're number one.
Goodness. Brilliant, amazing stuff, Jen. Like, it looks incredible. Very excited. I just got a bit lost. This is just literally just because I'm interested. When you said about the presenters, is it that you've got one ECP, one external expert, and one community person? Is that the idea of the podcast? Yeah.
So that's, I think, for the podcast, yes.
Yeah, just want to check I followed.
Yeah, what you don't want, I think, is too much talking over each other, and just trying to keep it small. And there may be times actually where it's just myself and the guest speaker. It really depends on what they're covering. But I like the idea of having, a lot of people don't understand that there are forever chemicals in everything, pretty much waterproof or stain guard, or trying to actually get the average person in there to have a voice, because this is the voices of the river. The concept is trying to give the average person a voice, as well as the experts, because everyone's got an amazing story to tell that's related to the river.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. David, you're next.
Hi, Jennifer. Yeah, it looks really, really good. I've just gone onto YouTube actually, and I can see the Voice of the River webinars, and they look great. But it looks like now we have two separate YouTube channels. So I don't know if that's deliberate or we need to sort of rationalize that.
It wasn't deliberate, David. I think Sam hadn't realized that there was another one, and we kind of accidentally piggybacked on it. And that's something that we need to try and do. Is I think it would be better to bring them together. The old website, I think, is the Evenlode Catchment Partnership, and then it's got some numbers behind it. And I think to work better with the rest of social media, having the @Evenlode might be more user-friendly. So I'm not sure how to bring them together, but that is definitely something that we need to look at, especially going forward, I think, with connecting anything to the new website. So
yeah, sure. So, certainly when I was searching using the YouTube algorithm, it was a bit difficult to come up. So it sounds like that's a good idea. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Izzy.
Just to say that, I started listening back to them, and using time driving in the car to listen back to them on YouTube. So I think don't be discouraged by the kind of slower uptake, because having them there on the YouTube channel is like really, really helpful. And I listened to the one about antibiotic resistance, and your guest speaker was really, really interesting. And just saying, great, it's really good.
Excellent. Thanks for that feedback. We have we've made some great contacts, I think, with the Royal Society of Chemistry and whatnot. So we're looking at really top experts, and hopefully, having Voices of the River, it is about the Evenlode, but actually it should be something that is understood and hopefully listened to nationally, if not internationally, as we go forward, because it is about all rivers, really.
Yeah, we can help you with everyone across the call, like sharing it wider. Like I can share it across my catchment coordinator network.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. And Anne.
I'm just going to say really well done. Fantastic initiative, Jen. And I just want to sort of say that publicly. I've sat in on, I think, all of the ones so far. And they've just been stellar. Really, really good. And I love the thing of making it into something, as Izzy says, where you can listen to it as you're doing other things at some point to catch up on the detail of whatever. And plenty of having a simple bit.ly type link that we can embed into newsletters and things will be really helpful to so that we can all disperse it widely. But just again, you know, really well done. I think it's got really fantastic legacy potential. So fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Okay, I can't see any more hands up. Are there